Americans should know that this is a potentially very serious public health threat. This is a very fast-moving, constantly changing situation.
Health officials have now expanded screening at airports from 5 to 20 across the U.S. as the coronavirus outbreak grows rapidly in China.
A virus never before seen in human history is here, and it's spreading fast, infecting thousands by the day, killing innocent men, women, and children in the most horrific ways imaginable, causing a wave of panic, mayhem, and death. The coronavirus is the most lethal contagious virus since the bubonic plague, with an infection rate of 83% and a kill rate estimated as high as 15%. Governments around the world are struggling to contain it. It's so lethal, doctors in protective gear are dying within days of contact. Hospitals are overwhelmed with dying patients. And the Chinese government has already declared emergency quarantines in over 12 cities, shutting down buses, trains, and blocking exit routes, trapping over 35 million people to unimaginable horror. You have been lied to about the coronavirus, and the truth hurts. But the truth is, the coronavirus is here to stay. It's just getting started, and it's on its way to your neighborhood. The only question is, what are you going to do when it's at your doorstep? Will you have the knowledge you need to be a hero to your family? Or will you panic and wind up just another body that loved ones are afraid to even bury? We're about to find out. The most important presentation of your life begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This presentation contains graphic imagery and controversial information that the government is actively trying to prevent you from seeing. If you trust your government's ability to handle this crisis completely, this video is not for you. However, if you believe that you may not be getting all the facts about the crisis, you're concerned about how the government will respond, and you're ready to take action to protect your family against a lethal threat, this presentation is for you. And if you value your life, you'll stop everything you're doing and watch it until the very end. Because at the very end of this video, you will be given, for free, the secret that will protect you no matter how bad the outbreak gets. You're about to hear from a brave patriot from the National Guard who is going to risk his career and blow the whistle on his commanders about what they're hiding. This is life or death information. Raise the volume, take notes, and may the truth set you free. Once, there was a merchant ship, and on that ship was a black rat. This rat contained a virus that the world had never seen. A flea bit the rat, and then the flea bit a man on the ship, and it released some of that rat's blood into his back. When the ship arrived on shore, and people looked inside, they were horrified. Nearly every single person on the ship was on the ground dead. Over the next 9 years, that virus, that the world had never seen, wiped out 60% of the entire human race in Europe. If your husband had this virus, he would die in one of two ways. Either his lungs would liquefy and he would cough himself to death, or he would ooze blood from every pore until his life was drained. If you cared for your husband during this process, you knew a week later the same thing would be happening to you. If you sneezed on your daughter by accident, you had just killed her. If you walked outside, dead bodies would lay in the street. And it didn't stop for 9 years. I didn't make up that story. That's the story of the bubonic plague of the 14th century, also known as the Black Death. So why am I telling you this? Because I want you to get something very clear. Tiny microbes in just one human can turn the world into a living hell. The Spanish flu of 1919 killed more people than Hitler, nuclear weapons, and all the terrorism combined. Did you know that? Smallpox killed 300 million people. That's the entire population of the United States. Plague has actually affected history more than any war or anything any human has ever done. And if there is one thing we can be certain of, it is that history will repeat itself. So, as this new coronavirus is spreading, we learn that it destroys internal organs and causes lungs to fill with fluid, leaving you gasping for air until you literally drown to death. That means it's time to pay attention. Time to get the information you need to protect yourself and your family, which you'll get right here in this video and nowhere else. I'm not saying the coronavirus will be the next bubonic plague. I'm not a prophet. What I am saying is this: the coronavirus is in the United States and it will spread. If you think the coronavirus in the US or any other country is no big deal because only 1 or 2 people have it, or The government has it under control. It's time to wake up and smell the reality. It took only one flea to nearly wipe out humanity. I get it. I used to think the same way. When the coronavirus first showed up, I used to think that it's a tragedy happening over there. I feel for them, but they're there and I'm here. But as we're now learning, in our global village, there's no such thing as over there and over here. We're all interwoven and interconnected at many levels, and we can't escape that fact anymore. If the coronavirus is breaking out there, it's breaking out here, because a lot of things you buy right now are made in China. Even some of our food comes from there. People are flying back and forth nearly every day, and the government hasn't stopped a single flight or cargo ship coming in from China. Right now, we are an open door inviting the virus into our society. What about airport screenings? What about them? They're completely pointless. Don't take it from me. This is what Dr. Bruce Aylward, Assistant Director General of the World Health Organization, told the BBC World Service. The probability that you will find something on screening someone coming in is quite low, and that should be obvious. The coronavirus has a 21-day incubation period. Why would we think that a temperature reading directly after they've left would help anything? The screenings are a show to make it look like Uncle Sam is on top of things, but that's the biggest lie of all. The point to recognize here is viruses don't care about borders. They don't care if you're black or white, poor or rich. It will kill all just the same, painfully and horrifically. People have already died right here. It just isn't being reported. What is it going to take for us to wake up and realize that this is the most important thing to be focusing on right now? Our existence on this planet is in jeopardy. And the only person in this world who can protect you is you. The government has little to no interest in keeping you safe from the coronavirus. They are deliberately lying about how quickly this is spreading at the expense of endangering millions of lives. They don't want to stoke the flames of fear, but it's not because they're worried about you. It's because they're worried about themselves. So they're happy to lie and leave you to die because of it, as long as they're safe. How do I know it's spreading rapidly? That's obvious. Just look at what's happening in China. The government has quarantined entire cities. That's millions of people in 100% lockdown. They are forced to stay in their homes. All the exits blocked. Not even supplies are getting in. And this was put in place just weeks after the initial case was discovered. Just think about that for a second. Why would the government go to this much trouble? It's costing them billions in profit as all the factories shut down. Why would they do it if it wasn't spreading like wildfire? The truth is, the virus is spreading exponentially in China, and that's why it'll spread exponentially here. And exponentially means that if each person is just infecting two others, we can have millions infected. Although this may seem shocking to you, what I'm saying isn't a secret to the governments of the world. A big outbreak is coming. Early projections put deaths at over 65 million people. The government knows it, the CDC knows it, and the National Guard knows it. I know because that's where I work. I'm Clayton Matthews, a National Guardsman, Reserve PV2 officer stationed in Dayton, Ohio. And believe it or not, sharing info the way I just did could cost me my job and a lot worse. I am fully aware of the risk I'm taking, and I'm doing it for one reason, because I can't suffer in silence anymore. You deserve to know what's coming, and there's only one group of people who are fully aware of what's coming, and that's the National Guard. Why? Because we are the ones that will be mobilized to stabilize the nation when the shit hits the fan. And the plan for how it's going to be handled is already in place. And the plan for you is simple. It's to keep you in place, literally. Sealed in your home, a mass quarantine, with none of you having access to the outside world for weeks or months. The National Guard and Army tanks will roam through your streets day and night. Bullhorns constantly in your ear won't let you sleep. They will remind you that you have been exposed and it's unsafe for you to leave your home, and that they are granted the right to use lethal force if you step outside of the quarantine. All guns are confiscated on the first day, much like what happened in Katrina. And then, of course, you guessed it, mandatory vaccinations of an experimental new cocktail drug made by Merck just a few short months ago. The government has purchased hundreds of millions of dollars worth of the vaccine, a vaccine that hasn't been tested long enough to prove that it's safe or effective against the coronavirus. But rumor has it, stroke is a common side effect. And now, a shot is mandatory for everyone who wants to leave their home. Welcome to U.S. Martial Law of 2020. And those of you in Australia, Canada, and Europe can expect the same thing. It's a state of emergency, So the Bill of Rights is put on hold until the disaster is over, and it may never be truly over, which means the criminal elements within the government will finally have their chance to get justice against the detractors. They will now have no hesitation about putting a bag over your head and throwing you in a van and disappearing you permanently if they see you as someone who could threaten their control in any way. Find all this hard to believe? Believe it or not, this is what your government has actually wanted for a long time. A final power grab to end the last shred of rights you thought you had, giving them complete dictatorial control over you in a new America, where they never again have to worry about being voted out or overthrown, because anyone who dares disagree with them can now legally be literally shot in the head with no trial on the matter. Those who try to break the curfews and get out of the quarantines to get food for the family will unfortunately be shot. The picture I've painted didn't come from me or my imagination. This scenario was clearly spelled out in the handbooks given to us by our commanders upon the news of the coronavirus outbreak in China. FEMA already has millions of coffins ready to go for this event, stored in locations all over America. They know it's coming here, and we have been running drills to prepare for it ever since. We needed this info first because we will be the first to implement the martial law regime. I have personally decided that I won't be participating in any of these unconstitutional acts against the citizenry of the United States. But that's not true for my colleagues. They will follow their orders, and the hell I'm describing to you will become your reality. If you're a bit scared by all this, well, that's perfectly normal. But my goal today is not to scare you. My goal today is to wake you up to the truth and empower you with the tools and information that make you essentially coronavirus-proof. You will notice in the coming crisis that not a single National Guardsman will contract coronavirus, nor have any of them contracted SARS, swine flu, or any other epidemic. We have been given the insider knowledge and tools to function normally and completely virus-proof, and I want to share that with you now. But first, I've got to share a few things about me. For most of my childhood, I was an orphan. My parents went to a movie one night, left me with a babysitter, and I never saw them again. Killed by a drunk driver. My mother was a social worker, and my father was in military intelligence. I didn't know it then, but he would end up being the wisest man I had ever met in my life. When I became an adult, I realized that he had taught me more about how the world works in 9 years than most people ever know in their entire lifetime. After their death, I moved in with my aunt to a new neighborhood and a new school. I struggled bitterly in that school. The teachers would get so frustrated with me that they wanted to pull their hair out. They didn't know it at the time, but I had dyslexia, and that's why I could never keep up in reading. That one problem caused problems throughout every other subject during the school day. I got depressed, and I was certain I was going nowhere in life, so I turned to other things, music and drugs. This made my school problems even worse, of course. My high school wouldn't give me a degree. I had failed too many classes. No one was offering me a job either. So with nothing to do, my aunt said to sign up for the military. Like your father, she said. So I did. And I guess it worked because the Army whipped me into shape real fast. I rose the ranks, and I was eventually placed on the full-time squad of the National Guard, where I've been for the past 23 years. I've had some incredible experiences there that I will cherish forever. I'll never forget the day I saved a young girl from a flood who was literally about to drown. I felt so alive inside. The experience told me exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to help people who were in harm's way, and that's still all I want to do. I know I'll be leaving the National Guard soon, and that's fine with me, because it's no longer the great organization it once was. Very recently, everything changed. While the normal protocol is 75% general training and 25% drills, when the outbreak occurred in China, that changed to 75% of the time for drills and 25% for general training. This was a huge change, and it apparently had never been done before in National Guard history. Clearly, they knew this was going to be big, and the specific drills we were doing were always the same. Drill after drill was about the coronavirus quarantine and martial law. Coronavirus, quarantine, and martial law. And I didn't like their strategy at all. Instead of fighting the disease, their plans turned the Army against the people, stripping them of their rights under the barrel of a gun and forced vaccine that hasn't been tested for safety. So I decided to turn the tables on them and join the team of We the People. I'm about to completely shift the power structure by giving you and the rest of the country the insider knowledge that they were going to use against you So you will be the one who comes out on top of this crisis. And I may be the only one in this world who can really do that for you, because I know exactly how this crisis is going to unfold and how to respond at every level, concerning the disease, concerning the army, concerning your family, and I'm willing to talk. I can't tell you how desperately each of you need this information, even if you think you know a thing or two about the coronavirus. I took a look on the internet before I created this guide to see what info was already out there on the topic, and I was shocked at what I saw. I expected to see at least some good information, but website after website, it quickly became obvious that they have no experience with pandemics, no experience in the line of fire, no experience in martial law transition, and no experience in a situation where you don't know how you're going to feed your baby because you might be shot if you leave your home. When I saw this, I realized I had no choice. I needed to create something from scratch. So there would be at least one place people could go to get the information that will save their lives. It would be a product that's perfectly tailored to what I already know is going to happen as this pandemic rolls out, with insider info ripped directly from our personal playbook at the National Guard and delivered to you, not for profit, but for your survival. If you're here on this page, I don't care who you are, or even if you've had military experience, there are serious gaps in your knowledge about how to deal with a coronavirus outbreak. I promise you that. Your coronavirus IQ probably needs to be bumped up about 20 points to ensure your survival. And it needs to be bumped up another 40 points if you want to know how to survive comfortably and without stress. I developed a course that gives you a 40-point coronavirus IQ jump in one day. That's right, in just one run-through of this simple, easy-to-read course, you will know exactly what should I be doing right now to prepare for the outbreak. What should I do if supplies are already out of stock? What should I do once I hear the coronavirus has hit my city? How will I know what's going on when the army has cut the power and my TV doesn't work? How do I ensure I will always have clean water for my family no matter how long the quarantine lasts? How do I ensure I will have a source of vegetables and protein when my food stores run out? What do I do when I'm around people who may have been exposed? How do I know if I have the coronavirus before it becomes symptomatic? What should I do if I've contracted the coronavirus to prevent it from spreading to my family? What should I do if someone coughs on me? How should I deal with door handles or food preparation? What should I say when a National Guard officer is questioning me? Should I have a gun? If not, what should I have? Is there going to be any way to get out of the quarantine? If you don't have clear, definite answers to every one of these questions, you simply cannot move on as a responsible citizen without getting this information. Imagine your son is crying to you for help because there's no food in the cupboard. His stomach is hurting from the hunger, and he can't sleep because the bullhorn is so loud outside. And he comes out of his bedroom and looks at you and just says, "Daddy?" Will you be able to look that son in the eye if you don't have what it takes to take away his pain? How will you feel about yourself when you know the answer to all of his problems was graciously offered to you on a silver platter and you didn't bother to take it? Let's not go there. Let's do the smart thing, the right thing. Get the answers to all of these questions and much more, neatly and beautifully laid out in a home study course that is becoming the #1 authority for coronavirus crisis preparation. It's called Pandemic Survival: How to Survive the Coronavirus. And you're really going to enjoy it. Often my customers call it gripping. They're learning so much, their head hurts. The fear is melting from their hearts, and their eyes are opening to the power they have to make it through the coronavirus crisis, and really any other crisis as well. But it's not just the customers. This course was picked up by my local police force as well as the fire department. It has become mandatory to go through this course for all the squads, and the chief of police is now recommending it to stations all across the state. I plan to put this out a few months from now, but over the past few weeks, I've been staying up nearly every night so I can get it out to the public. Why the rush? Because the alerts I've been getting from the Guard indicate that this crisis is happening a lot faster than I thought. We're talking just weeks from now. So this is really the last chance for you to get this info before the crisis hits. No joke, it's happening. But you don't need to worry about it because you will be armed with everything you'll ever need to ride out this crisis comfortably and with pride, even while Rome burns. There are so many insider tricks packed inside the course, I can't possibly even mention all of them here. But I can say you will be learning how to legally avoid forced vaccinations, how to boost your immunity so you're 75 to 80% less likely to catch the coronavirus. You'll learn how to make your own hazmat suit for pennies, how to get a ready-made hazmat suit at a steep discount, how to keep the Army out of your home. The worst thing you can say to a National Guardsman. People make this mistake all the time and wind up in a world of hurt. If you've already been affected with coronavirus, we will give you our supplement cocktail recipe, which will increase your odds of survival by as much as 95%. I'll also teach you how to turn $200 into a food supply that will have you and your family nourished and happy for a year. What to do if urban warfare breaks out in your neighborhood, which is almost a given in this case. What to do when a neighbor knocks on your door and needs help, and you know he could be infected. How to live well. I'm talking cookies and milk, even while your society's infrastructure is collapsing around you. I'm going to show you how to clean any water so it's 100% safe to drink for just pennies. Also, how to mentally program yourself, just like the National Guardsman, who at a moment's notice can spring into action brimming with the energy of a lion. You'll need this. There's going to be a lot to do, and you've got to do it fast and do it right. I'll share with you the $50 medicine kit that can get you out of almost any medical jam. I'll tell you exactly how to deal with the elderly and the disabled in a crisis like this to keep them safe, happy, and well. Imagine any one of these issues came up and you didn't know what to do. It could literally mean life or death. If you really think about it, you will quickly realize there is no excuse for not having this course. This isn't a joke. I've rushed to make this course because according to the level of alert that I have been receiving from the Guard, I know this is happening within weeks. And this course has the crucial information you'll need to see your way through it. It's currently being used by local mayors and other politicians in my city. They're implementing the suggestions citywide. They realize how many lives it can save, and they realize there is nothing else like this on Earth. With this information, I promise you, the coronavirus will be something you not only don't worry about, it'll be something you barely think about, no matter how much the media is fear-mongering it. The moment you finish the course, you will feel a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. That night, you will sleep the best sleep you ever slept because you'll know no crisis can touch you anymore. You'll have a plan that's bulletproof for any situation that could arise, and it's laid out for you simply. No matter what happens, you just go to the section of the course, follow along, and you'll be executing like a seasoned professional survivalist. You will know exactly what to do and how to do it without a shred of fear or doubt in your heart. You will be a hero to your family. And if you point out this course to others, you will be a hero to them too. In fact, I'll actually pay you to spread the message. More info on that inside the course. And here's a few emails we received from customers just yesterday. This first is from Ted Vigil from Dallas, Texas. He writes, Clayton, my wife and I got Pandemic Survival yesterday. We couldn't put it down. We finished the whole thing in one day and had no idea how unprepared we were. And that scared us to death. But then, as I got further on in your course, the fear started to melt away. Just like you said, I just took those simple steps you suggested. Now, I don't worry about the pandemic at all. This one is from Beverly Pastor from White City, Oregon. Clayton, my mother was living in fear watching the news. She couldn't stand what she was hearing. I looked online and like you said, nothing but a bunch of garbage, no credentials, and all their information basically contradicted each other. Then I got Pandemic Survival, and it was like water on a parched tongue. It took all the mystery out of the process, exposed all the holes, and I mean all of them, and showed us how to plug them without spending barely any money and without being handy at all. I'm recommending it to every human being I know because I know that when I do, I'm saving lives and also spreading a lot of peace and calm at the same time. Get it out there, Clayton. I hope it reaches millions. You may just save this country. That is so awesome, Beverly. Here's another from Harry Blackman from Fayetteville, North Carolina. This course needs to be airdropped en masse all over America because if everyone had this course, the outbreak could be over tomorrow. There would be no worry. There'd be no fear-mongering because when you understand these tactics, you're in the zone. That's how powerful this course is. And that's just a few of the hundreds of emails I get every day. I know you're anxious to get started, but I also know some of you are waiting to hear what it's going to cost. Well, let me ask you, what is one life worth? Try to put a number on that. You can't. It's priceless. What is peace of mind worth? You can't put a number on that either. That's priceless too. Just think about how much you spend on chiropractors, acupuncturists, psychologists, prescription drugs, yoga and massage, etc. For what? To feel peace of mind and to feel good about yourself. Aside from saving you from the coronavirus, this course actually does all of those things. It gives you peace of mind. It shows you how to be agile. It shows you how to be strong. It shows you how to be efficient. And it shows you how to truly be a provider. You'll truly feel like a man or a woman for the first time in your life. Once you have that, you're not going to need much else. You're going to feel amazing. So I could charge $1,000 for this course. I would still have tens of thousands ready to buy it because it's truly life or death information and it contains government secrets that are impossible to get anywhere else. However, my goal here is not the money. My goal here is to save lives. So I don't want to charge you $1,000. I don't even want to charge you $500. I don't even want to charge you $250 or even $100. All I want to charge you is enough to allow me to keep doing this. All I ask is that you help me pay for some of the ad costs to get this message out there, and for the support we will provide you for this course. Because although I haven't mentioned it, the support is really one of the most exciting aspects of this course. You will be assigned a truly knowledge survivalist who you can talk to for hours if you'd like, and they will get back to you within hours as well. Because of this high level of support we're providing you, we ask that you chip in. Just $37. But hang on, it actually gets a little better than that. Because let's say you get into the course and you decide it's not for you. That almost never happens, but let's just say theoretically it did. All you do is shoot us an email and you'll have every penny back in your bank account the very next day. We are lightning fast with our refunds. I demand it. Now, let's say you want this course, but you just can't afford the $37. We understand times are tough. We offer you financial aid. Here's how it works. Simply purchase the course for $37. And if you're truly in need of the money, you email us. Let us know that you can't really afford it, and we send back the $37. You keep the course, and you keep the support. Like I said, we're here to help. And finally, if this course doesn't make you 100% satisfied for what you paid, if it isn't everything I've promised you and more, in fact, if you just want your money back for any stupid reason under the sun, send us an email and your money is back to you within 24 hours. But you know what? Just to prove how much I care about you and your family, I want to be really generous here and give you 3 valuable bonuses just for trying out the pandemic survival today. These bonuses are yours free even if you decide the program isn't for you. First, I want to give you bonus number 1, my Survival Essential Quick Lists. Listen, I've worked hard to make sure pandemic survival is extensive. I've included everything you and your family needs to survive. But when the shit hits the fan, you might not have access to a computer or want to carry so much paper. So I've created condensed versions of my top tips and tricks, as well as an essential survival checklist that you can print out and laminate. That way, you can ensure you always have this vital information on you, safe and protected. Bonus number 2, Emergency Power Guide. I don't think I have to tell you what would happen if power goes out. That's why I've compiled this in-depth survival guide to help protect you and your family when the grid collapses, and without spending a fortune on generators. You'll learn how to create a solar heater to heat your home even in the dead of winter, how to create a simple solar oven to cook dangerous raw food. I think you know this, but eating raw meat can cause horrible disease quickly. With your solar oven, you'll be able to keep your family fed and healthy no matter what occurs. And finally, how to create a portable solar energy generator to keep the lights on so you don't have to fear the dark, and how to keep the radio going so you can hear critical updates. Plus, I'll give you bonus number 3, pandemic survival videos. Some of the concepts I share are critical you get right. That's why I spent hours videotaping advanced skills you should practice beforehand, including 7 self-defense techniques to get you out of any situation. You'll be grateful you learn these if someone is stupid enough to attack you. 15 steps to prepping your home from the outside to stop the deadly virus from getting in and making it look like no one's home. 3 ways to spot if someone is infected days before they show symptoms, and how to know if someone from the outside is safe to let in, and much, much more. This purchase will be the most comfortable, no-brainer purchase of your life, which means you have absolutely no excuse for not getting it. Think about it. You didn't have to save a month to buy this course. You probably buy this with your Starbucks money. Remember, it's free if you can't afford it, and it's free if you're not totally happy with it. So what really could be holding you back now? I can't imagine. Every person hearing my voice right now should have placed their order already. If you haven't placed your order yet, I want you to think about something. It's called Patient Zero. That's the first person to catch the virus. Everyone always wants to know who Patient Zero is. In China, as the virus is spreading out of control, killing thousands with a death toll rising every day, we still don't know how the virus started. But what about in your country? If you're watching this video, I want you to know you are potential Patient Zero. If you do not take the measures needed to stop coronavirus from reaching you and your family, you could be the one that infects your family and your entire city and cities all around you. It's completely possible. So when you decide to refuse this product, you're actually taking the risk of infecting everyone you love around you. The only way to ensure you will never be Patient Zero for your family is to get information from the uncontested authority on the topic, from the insider who knows this crisis inside out. Get Pandemic Survival right now. Just click the order button below and fill out the quick and easy form on the next page. This isn't about a course. This is your life we're talking about. This is the life of your children we're talking about, your wife or your husband. Honestly think about everything you love about your life, everything that's dear to you. This is the way to protect you from losing it all. Be kind to yourself and kind to those around you, and be strong, because this will be one of the worst crises the country has ever seen. Your country needs you to be prepared. So stop hesitating. You can get all your money back if you want, or need it back. Just do it. Hit the button below and fill out the form on the next page. You'll have digital access to the course instantly after that. And once you do, you're going to have a huge change in the way you feel about yourself and your future. You'll see. Hit the button now. I mean, I don't have to tell you what having the coronavirus is like, right? Have you ever had fluid fill up your lungs while you're choking and struggling to breathe? All while you feel like your internal organs are being attacked by a pack of piranhas? That's what we can prevent, right here, right now. Hit the button below right now. Because a threat to the health of any human being is a threat to all human beings. But one fearless fighter who knows what to do can save a nation. Isn't that who you want to be, a hero? Or do you want to be the one cowering in the corner, hiding your face because you can't look your spouse in the eye? Let's not have to deal with that eventuality. Let's wipe our conscience clean. Let's hit the button below. You're going to be glad you did, and do it now. Because if it's not coronavirus, it'll be something else. Whether it's SARS, H1N1, or swine flu, or an attack from ISIS, there will always be threats. There will always be the chance things could spin out of control. So don't live that way, like your life is a game of roulette. Get on firm footing, hit the button below, and start really living. Because even if you don't come down with coronavirus, it's not fun to be lonely in isolation for days not knowing if you'll live or if you'll die. That's what'll happen to you if you're even just exposed to coronavirus, which will be most of you hearing this. Is that an experience you really want in your life? Don't you have better things to do than be stuck in isolation for 2 weeks? Whether you like it or not, it's happening. With one blow of the wind, it's in your hometown, maybe even today. I know. You're not going to be the one that dies from coronavirus. It'll be somebody else, right? Well, the bad news is, everyone thinks they won't be the one, but a lot of those people are dead now. This is the only way to make sure you're not one of them. Hit the button below. Some have asked about the security when purchasing on the website. Let me address that. We sell via a publisher named BuyGoods. BuyGoods is the largest digital information product seller on the internet. They sell tens of millions of dollars worth of products, and they have never had a security breach in their history. Why? Because they use encrypted SSL technology, the same security you have when you do your online banking. So let not your heart be troubled. Your information is safe and secure, and your home is about to be safe, sound, and secure from all biological disease. Hit the button right now, and I'll see you on the other side with a surprise that's going to really shock you. Do it now. See you on the other side.